Hello, CUSD. I hope you're all doing well. This is Michael Vazos in the assessment department. We're going to kind of take a look at GradeCam troubleshooting. The first thing we have to do is find an assessment. So what we're going to use today is ELA grade 9. That is an assessment that we can kind of bubble in and take a look at some of the problems we might have or whatever the case might be. So first thing we're going to do is find our assessment. So we go to our collections. Depending on what subject area you are, I'm going to click off this. I'm going to go to ELA. I'm going to hit refresh. And there's our ELA. So we're going to go to find grade 9 ELA. And we're going to make our way across the grade document camera icon. We're going to press that. And hopefully we get an image that pops up here. So it's a little close, so I want to kind of back it off just a little bit because your papers are going to be a little bit wider than that. So first thing I'm going to do is we're looking at for it to green up for ourselves here. And there's the first one. So good. We've got our first one in there. So we'll go to our next one. There's the second one. And we're going to go to the third one. There's number 3. And then we're going to go to the fourth one. And here we go. There we go. So we've got, now you're going to have more than 4 students, but we have some errors here. And the big thing for you to look at is what are the errors. So what we have to do is see we have 2 yellows here. We have 2 whites. Now the white ones show that there are no errors, which means that it's been graded and there doesn't seem to be any bubble errors or anything like that. However, this one has an invalid assessment, which means that if I might have maybe 2 different subject areas or 2 different grade levels, I may have printed the wrong answer sheet. I might have printed, like, for example, if I was a world history teacher and I also teach health, I may have been in the world history final and printed some health students. So it'll show as an invalid assessment. So the thing you have to understand is we want to make sure that we don't do that. So you just got to be mindful of that. It won't input the scores because it's invalid for that particular final. So we want to make sure that, if you see that, make sure that you go back and look at your answer sheets and rescore them just to make sure that you are not uploading an invalid assessment. Now I do have 2 others here. I have 2 in yellow, so there are errors there. So first thing I'm going to do is show the errors. So now we have the show error screen. Now we look at number 10 and we look at number 11 and we look at number 13 and we see that the student omitted those problems. Now here just shows simply what they got wrong, what they got correct with green, what they got wrong in red. But here's the 3 that I want to look at. So I'm going to go back to that particular student number 10. I'm actually going to get the answer document and take a look at it. So I'm looking at student number 10, and I see that in number 10, they did start to bubble in B, but they just didn't finish it. So they did start answering that question. So I'm going to go ahead and give them credit for that. They did get it incorrect, but it's still, I'm going to give them credit for actually doing it. Number 11, they did not bubble anything in. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to leave it alone. And it'll upload as an incorrect response because they skipped it. And number 13, they also skipped it. They didn't put an answer at all. There's no bubbles, there's no eraser marks. So I'm going to leave that blank. What I'll do then is I will leave the 2 that they didn't answer blank. I will save, and then I'll go on to my next student. It'll show the next student. So I'll go to that student's answer document, and I'll take a look. And I see that in number 8, number 4, and number 7, 2 of them they omitted. So number 4, they actually started to bubble in B. So I pressed B. Unfortunately, they got that one wrong. Number 7, they skipped. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one alone because they didn't touch it. Now number 8's interesting because they did start to answer B on number 8, but they didn't erase it all the way. And they did bubble in D dark. So I'm going to give them credit for that, and I'm going to take off B. Now I have the correct answer document. I have the correct answers on there based on the students' answer sheets. Just remember, if they omit something, you do not have to necessarily correct that error means they skipped it. So you just save it as a missed response. The other part that you have to understand is this is just an alert system, so it's just showing you the errors, so it's good to go back to the answer documents and look at them. So I will save that. You'll see that all my errors are solved. Then I would upload the results. Just remember, be careful when you have an invalid assessment in there when you're uploading the results. Any questions that you might have, you can contact the assessment department and we'll be glad to help. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.